Still on his feet. Lost it for Witt. Williams comes in behind him, and that is a catch. What a reception by Williams, who seemingly came out of nowhere.
That's an outstanding job by Williams, keeping his feet in play. But how about Tony Romo keeping the play alive in the pocket?
Well, hello, and welcome back to the official Madden League 20 podcast. I am your host, Dave Randlett, coming at you with my boy, Tyler Johnson, tonight.
Woo-hoo.
And my good friend and fellow commissioner, Matt Ingram.
What's going on?
Well, this is certainly an exciting time to be in Madden League 20. We are between files right now, so there's not a lot going on. If you remember from last week, we discussed the top 16 players that were voted on by the players in our league from last file. And so it's a pleasure to be joined by Matt today, who ranked number 1. 44 points. Matt, how do you feel about that ranking?
I thought I would be top 3 or 4 in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I think on my list I put myself number 2, but I had Dustin as my number 1.
Yeah.
And I think after his last Super Bowl, I gotta give him the number 1 spot over myself.
Yeah, he had. While we're here, we should definitely give congratulations to Dustin, the first 2-time champion in our league history. That's awesome.
Yeah, he had a great season.
He did. And I mean, he played a good opponent in Southern Sam, who gave him a good game. I mean, that was down to the wire. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we're here to reveal the teams that everyone will be playing as in the next file. So the process as far as acquiring the teams that people voted for, I guess the best way to, what I'd had everyone do was send me their top 3 selections for their teams. Now, not everyone got teams that were on their selections, and I'll explain why. When we were putting this list together and we were putting users together, I think one of the biggest points for me was to make sure that each division was going to be competitive. And so in my mind, if you have a shot to make the playoffs, then you could absolutely, then anything could happen in the playoffs. So if your division is competitive and you're a good match with your opponent just in your division, then one, you're going to have an exciting playoff race, but that means that you could see a lot of change up as far as who's going to make the playoffs. There's going to be a lot of competition between conferences and divisions, and so I'm trying to create just an exciting group altogether. So not everyone got their top 2 or 3 suggestions, but I think for the most part I spoke with everybody before I penciled them in, saying, hey, do you have a problem playing here? And every single person was terrific as far as being flexible. A lot of different, a lot of similar choices on these lists. Seahawks were a big pick, and what was the other one? Chargers.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a few Chargers in the mix. Did you guys see anything else that jumped out at you as far as picks?
I think I saw a lot of Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I did not expect them to be so often selected, actually.
They have Alex Smith, so what do you expect?
I mean, that's true. That's true. So that was the process. I had everybody send me their top 3 teams, and priority number 1 went to anybody that was a commissioner. So myself, Ty, and Cody. Whatever team we selected first, based on the work they did and I did during the file, I felt like, that's our one little payment we get. I mean, we don't even collect taxes from you guys, so you should be grateful. So we get first pick on teams. So that took place. Second tie-breaking scenario was how long you had been in the league. So if you had played continuously through all 7 or 8 seasons, then congratulations, you have a heavier, like your pick's way heavier than somebody who joined and played for 4 years and then left for a year or two and then came back, or somebody that left and never came back, or somebody that joined later. So that was the second tiebreaker, how long you spent in the file. And then the third tiebreaker was how much content you generated for the league. So if you're out there pumping out power rankings or putting out the tweets and the emails, and you're adding and helping bring this league to a better place, then that's going to definitely weigh in your favor when your selections get chosen. For the most part, everyone got somebody on their top 3 list. But there were a few that I had to ask, hey, for the benefit of the league and the benefit of a more competitive division, would you mind moving over here? And here are your choices of teams. And every single person I asked was terrific. So I give you guys a huge thanks for that. And I guess without rambling on any longer, we'll get started. Matt, would you like to introduce the first division on our list today?
Sure.
We'll start the AFC, sure.
AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
We have Sam. Your brother is going to be the Bengals, and then we have Joe. Who's coming back, and he's going to be the Cleveland Browns.
I like that division a lot. Joe was one of the players that did not select the Browns. They weren't anywhere on his list, and the Jets were number 3 on his list. In fact, we'll go over Joe's picks right now. Joe had selected, let's see, where is he? Joe's number 1 was the Broncos, then he had the Chargers, and then he had the Jets. And I looked at the divisions that you'll hear about sooner or later, and I asked Joe if he'd play in the AFC North, and he was awesome and said not a problem. And he said the only thing he wanted to be sure of was he hopefully wouldn't have to deal with Lamar Jackson in the Ravens. And fortunately for him, Sam was interested in taking back the Bengals, which is definitely a legacy pick for Sam, who has been the Bengals before. What do you think, Ty?
Yeah, it's nice to have Joe back there, and then Sam being in his route with the Bengals is going to be really nice. Joe being with the Browns, having a second run, it's going to be interesting to see what he does differently. Mm-hmm. And the biggest reveal of this is no user Lamar Jackson, at least until he potentially hits free agency.
That could be.
Yeah, I think everyone can take a nice sigh of relief that at least for a few years you're not going to have to deal with possibly the cover athlete that might be the most overpowered player in the league right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think about the competition between these two users?
I think they're kind of similar styles in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down like 2 old school style teams. Expect a lot of running. They both play great, solid defense.
Yep.
For Joe, I feel like he's gonna probably build around Nick Chubb. That's what I would do.
Yep.
I could see him trading away OBJ too. And then Sam, he has Burrow, and that's really the only thing I see positive in Cincinnati. But
is AJ Green still there? Yeah, old but there.
Yeah, he's old. He's there, but he's got some work with the roster. So
yeah, Joe's coming in more ready.
Yeah,
with that roster.
But I think it'll be a good matchup. Like I said, I feel like they have similar styles and they'll play off each other and competing with each other for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited that 5 to 6 nail biter that decides the division.
I don't know if there was much history between these two as far as playing each other.
I really don't remember any games.
Yeah, I just don't recall. I'm excited to see Joe with the Browns again. For whatever reason, that worked for me last year when he was the Browns. It was a good fit for him, and he really played well. I think he went to 2 AFC championships.
Yeah, no, we had that one game, and he played the toughest defense I probably played maybe in the whole file.
Right. Yeah, no, he's solid, super solid defense. Sam is jumping into the Bengals, which, I mean, very much like his Lions, is going to be a rebuild, but this time he'll have more time with them. I think, kind of agree with you. I think Joe's going to have the early jump on that division, but Sam is not one that's going to sit around, and I think he's going to bring some competition to the file. And Joe hasn't played for a little while now, so he might be a little bit more rusty.
Yeah, that's true.
I also feel like it can't be understated that Sam getting Mixon might bring back some of those geo roots of having that running back to just build around from the start.
That's a good point.
I forgot he got Nixon. That's a key piece for him.
Yeah, and Sam loves to run. Is Giovanni Bernard still over there?
I don't
I just looked it up. Yes, he is. He's 28 years old. He's still a Bengal.
Oh my God.
Signed through 2021. So Sam's going to reunite with Gio. You want to talk about old school?
Yeah.
So Gio and Mixon back, and he's going to have Burrow. He's going to have an ancient A.J. Green. They don't even have Tyler Eifert over there anymore. He went to Jacksonville.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's gonna be some work for Sam, and I think Joe's gonna love getting Austin Hooper and Odell Beckham and Landry is over there as well. So it's gonna be a good team, a good division. Moving on, we'll go to the AFC East. Ty, do you want to reveal this one?
All right. The AFC East. We have the Patriots with yours truly, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bills with Cody.
Yeah, this was actually... It's interesting. These are two commissioners that got their first pick. So Cody chose the Bills first, and I had the Patriots. Behind that, who did Cody have? I'm just curious. Cody had the football team, Washington football team, and the Seahawks, but he chose the Bills first. And you can see why that would kick Joe out of this division, because Cody had priority. And I am excited about this division matchup. I have always been intrigued whenever I play Cody. I just don't play him often. And so, for the most part, I think he's had me in our matchups. But every time we've played, they've been good, exciting games. So, partnering up with him with a well-built Bills team versus my oddly built Patriots team, it's going to be interesting.
For sure. I think it's two opposing styles, kind of. I feel like Cody likes the big play, whereas I feel like you're a little more patient when I played you.
Mm-hmm.
And I at first I thought the Bills pick was kind of weird, but then when you think about it, he has Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
And, that's a nice combination.
Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent on defense too. So I think it'll be fun watching you guys kind of duke it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you got more aggressive towards the end of this file as far as like going downfield and big plays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see how you handle the Patriots, to be honest.
Yeah, the Patriots are going to be an interesting project for me. Last time I took them, I ended up signing Jared Goff to a $200 million contract, and at that stage of my Madden history, I was really burnt out when I took the team at that point. This time I'm going in a little bit more polished and a little bit fresher, and I can't say that I have a definite plan as far as what I'm going to do, but going into year one, I'm definitely going to try to be flexible. I mean, obviously I'm going to have the Dave identity of how I play ball and how I want to do things, but I'm going to be, the roster is not exactly how I'd build it, but it's still going to be a fun team to play with. A lot of veteran players there. And then it's going to be even more of a challenge because I'm going to have to play Cody, who, makes the Super Bowl 2 times out of 8. So that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, for sure. But I think you can handle it.
Yeah.
I wrote down for you your QB selection is going to be put to the test again after Cam leaves.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's the decision I have to make with him. Do I re-sign him? Or do we just do the 1-year test and then go with Stidham or somebody else? It'll be interesting to see. What do you think, Ty?
Well, I have to make an observation. Is this the first time you've ever had Gilmore in one of our leagues?
This is not the first time I've had Gilmore.
Oh, okay, never mind. I know you always liked him, but I just figured...
I had brought Gilmore to the Patriots before the Patriots brought Gilmore to the Patriots.
Okay. Well... I'm glad you're reunited with your favorite cornerback.
It's nice, and what a time to do it too.
Yeah, I know. He's gonna be a monster. You're gonna need him with the way Cody's going to play, though. I'm looking at the roster now, and their wide receivers with Josh Allen's throw power, that's going to be a force early and in a couple of years once he develops. So having people like him and McCourty to defend that kind of offense is going to be really nice for you. I'm really interested to see how both of you go because, well, I think the Patriots have a better roster at first. Bills are younger.
Bills have the staying power.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if there's a shift of Patriots dominating early and then the Bills taking over as time goes on.
Yeah, I actually, it's interesting you say that too because I feel almost the reverse. I feel like the Bills are better built now. A lot of it because of the way I play. Like the Patriots are not exactly my style currently. There's options for me to play my kind of ball with them, but they're. I think you're looking at a good defense, but you're right. Everybody's gonna be done in a year or two over there. Whereas Cody has the staying power, but I feel like Cody's on-field ability is a bit better than mine. So I feel up against the wall with this division, but in a fun way. Like I feel like I have to prove it because Cody's won a Super Bowl. I've never been there, and I have years ago, but I haven't won anything. And so Cody's proven with a good young team. So I immediately am like, all right. So I either have to show up year one and actually play well and use this roster as best as I possibly can, even though it's not exactly how I'd want it, or I've got to be able to play the long game and just off-season him. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair way to look at it. Cody hits the ground running with this. He doesn't really have to brush off any rust or anything.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so yeah, me and Cody will be together in the AFC East, and we'll move on to the AFC South, and I'll be happy to announce this one. So we have the Titans going to Dustin O, and the Jaguars will be occupied by yours truly, Matt Ingram.
That's right.
What do you think, Ty?
Well, I'm happy to see that Dustin got the Titans. I know.
Me too.
All he wanted was an opportunity to switch to them, but then once he got attached to that Ravens team, how do you give that up?
Right.
But to start not only as the Titans, but with probably the most exciting team they've had in years, with Henry being the force he is, I think he's gonna just bulldoze through people for the next few years. Him being the premier power back, just going to be a downhill running style that people aren't used to, and really
he's huge too, which is great in Madden.
Yeah, I expect him to be the David Johnson of this year's file.
Yep, that'll be fun to watch. How do you think he's going to do with Ryan Tannehill?
I think because of that contract, you have to take it. You have to run it out with him, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the second year he drafts another quarterback.
Yep, and I mean we haven't even let Matt speak on his own division here yet, but I have to say I am really, really excited to see what he does with the Jaguars a year removed after what I did with the Jags, and from my perspective, he's going into a team that's already really well built for what he's going to want to do. And I know he's going to love Yannick Ngakoue. What do you think, Matt?
Okay. I'm looking forward to using them, mostly because they had 2 first-round picks this past draft, and then we have 2 more this coming draft. And then also, I think the highest amount of cap space going to the offseason. So I'm really looking towards the future. Year one is kind of feeling people out, seeing if I could get rid of Minshew, find a replacement. But like they have Miles Jack, Shark, Fournette, all solid guys, and I'm just gonna have to build up to kind of stop Henry, like you guys said. I'm interested to see how Dustin approaches the Titans, because with the Ravens he had Brown, that deep ball, the big play. He's not gonna have that dimension as of yet. So I think it's gonna be really interesting. I pride myself on my run defense, so it's gonna be a good. I'm looking forward to the challenge of shutting him down.
Yeah, the Jags don't have a good run D, so that'll be a good project for you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna build it up for sure. Is one
Yeah.
of the goals.
They especially don't have a good history with defending Henry either.
Yeah,
Oh my word, it has been hard to watch,
Yeah.
especially now that I'm in a chat room with Dustin too, who's cheering on the other side, watching those games. Yeah, no, I think the matchup's exciting. I mean, that's our number 1 and number 2 pick in the top 16 in a division together going at it. I mean, that's just going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those games.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. How do you feel about taking on Fournette?
I don't know. I don't know exactly how old he is, but I'll probably be able to use him for a few years, and I think he does have a superstar ability, so that'll be nice. Because I don't think he had that last file.
No. I think he's 25 or 26.
Yeah, so I'll ride out with him for a few years.
Yep.
Until I
Get your Tyson Hoover.
Yeah, exactly. I'll draft another Gibson, some guy nobody wants.
And then leave the team and let Justin take him.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you guys' thoughts while we're on the division? What are you guys' thoughts on the Titans' defense?
They have some nice pieces. Rashawn Evans, Adoree Jackson. I think they have like a good pass rusher or two.
Yeah, is Bird still there at safety?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
he's their best defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has some room to develop them. I mean, it's not a bare cupboard at all.
Yep. My one request to you, Matt, is just take care of Chark for me.
I'll try my best.
All right, moving on to the AFC West. Matt, why don't you go ahead and introduce these users?
All right, so in Denver we have Swan coming to the Broncos, and in Las Vegas, not open, we have Lynn going back to the Raiders.
Yeah, he's our first user actually, Joe was our first user returning to his former team. But Lynn, number 1 pick, he wanted the Raiders again, and he landed them, and Jordan, his first pick was with the Broncos, reuniting with Drew Lock. I think this is going to be a fun division, mostly because I feel like they did exchange a lot of different blows in the first file.
Yeah, the reunion with Drew Lock is the one I definitely love, especially with the wide receivers that he has right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
That's Swan's going to do Swan magic again, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I do have to say, though, with the Raiders, they have a sneaky good roster in a lot of ways. Josh Jacobs is going to be a bulldozer.
He's going to be good again
in a couple of years. Darren Waller being that super fast tight end, that's going to be a weapon that people are going to have trouble defending against. And overall, there's just a lot of speed on the Raiders roster. That was something that when I was looking at like potential secondary teams,
Mm-hmm.
the Raiders were one of the teams that made me think, maybe really look at them and go, oh wow, there are a lot of guys in the 70s ratings that if you focus them could become elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you didn't even mention Ruggs. He has like 98 speed or something like that, the rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, when talking about the Raiders with Lynn, he mentioned him by name. He's like, I got him.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be a good team, I think, and then I think it's a natural fit for Jordan to go to the Broncos.
Yeah, it's a great young offense. With pretty much all his skill positions are kinda
Filled
set.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, so he can really focus on the defense in the draft and off season and getting younger on that side of the ball and have a great team in a year or two.
Yeah. I think besides a little bit of rust, I think you should see fireworks out of this division real quick. Between Jordan and Lynn.
Who do you guys got having a better career, Henry Ruggs or Jerry Jeudy?
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Judy just because of volume. I think Swan will throw it around more than Lynn will.
Yeah, Lynn's gonna hand it to Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Philip Lindsay is gonna have about 2 yards a season. So.
And those 2 yards will be for touchdowns.
Of course they will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Game winners at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a fun division. I actually don't know the Broncos roster that well going into this year. But I did take a look at that offense, and I think Jordan's going to be very comfortable early on. And I mean, I don't know what to say except I expect it to be a really fun matchup just between Lynn and Jordan. They both, I mean, Jordan won a Super Bowl last year, and Lynn got to the Super Bowl in year 1, so they both have proven that they're capable of playing deep into the playoffs. This is kind of a division I could see, one wins the division, the other one's a wild card on a regular basis.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that wraps up the AFC tour. So again, you have Sam as the Bengals, Joe as the Browns, Dave as the Patriots, Cody as the Bills, Dustin as the Titans, Matt as the Jaguars, Jordan as the Broncos, and Lynn as the Raiders. Moving on to the NFC. This is going to be a fun conference. Ty, why don't you get us started?
All right. At the NFC North, we've got the Packers being taken over by Adam, and then the Vikings being run by Southern Sam.
Yeah. So the Vikings, I believe, are Southern Sam's favorite team. Yeah?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And Adam did not have the Packers on his list at all. He actually, I can't remember where he wanted to go, but he was very kind to take the Packers, and I really kind of wanted to see a Packers user this file, just because we've seen the Bears and Lions all last year, and I'm really excited to see the Vikings and Packers be more relevant this time around. It just feels we haven't had a good Packers user since Nick Arnold, I feel like.
Yeah, that might be true.
And I've played Adam 2 or 3 times, and he is a fun user. He can attack with it through the air or through the run pretty well. He's very cerebral on the offensive side, and his defense reminds me of Joe. Very stiff, very reliable. And then, of course, you have Southern Sam coming in, who just barely lost a Super Bowl and is coming in hot with his favorite team. So I think he's going to know them pretty well. I think this is going to be a fun division. I don't know what to expect from it, but I feel like it's going to be a close matchup.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's going to be close throughout. Like you said, Adam's very good. I played him, I think, in the playoffs one year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think that was the year he got the MVP with Solomon. Maybe?
Oh, yeah, a couple of years ago, yep.
Yeah, but he seems like he's a real good team builder because he took that Pitt team and kind of gave it a little boost.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how he handles Green Bay and the whole Aaron Rodgers contract and things like that. And then with Sam, he's we know he's a great user, but now he's coming to a Vikings roster, has a lot of talent, but a lot of that talent's older. So I kind of feel like it's kind of an opposite of when he took over Tampa when he had all the young talent.
Yep.
That Jock had built up. So I want to see how he approaches that. But I would call it a push as far as who I think is gonna be the top dog in the division. I don't know.
Same. What do you got, Ty?
Well, I have to say I'm definitely excited to see a user take the Packers, only because I want to see if the Aaron Rodgers curse continues.
Oh, yes, that's a great point. Because he sucks.
For those that don't know, in our previous league, Aaron Rodgers didn't win a single Super Bowl and would get traded constantly because despite being rated the best quarterback, would generally lead in interceptions. And
something about his pass just sailed funny. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, but it was amazing that he would get benched for 80 rated quarterbacks often after getting traded. And I'm curious to see if we'll finally have a league with a legitimate Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things.
I could see Adam pulling it off.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. It's going to be fun to watch.
While we're on the subject of Aaron Rodgers, since you brought that up, I think something very interesting to note is all throughout our file this past league year, or this past in Madden 20, Aaron Rodgers was still the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers by the time we ended. He was like 42 and was a 68 overall quarterback, still the starter.
Wow.
It was so weird. But
Loyalty.
Yeah. But no, I think this is going to be a fun division. I agree. It's going to be close. I mean, both of them are fairly new to our league, so they're more unknown than other divisions. but I like the team selections and I like the matchup. I think it's going to be kind of interesting and fun to watch. I'll be tuning into their matchups.
Definitely.
All right, we'll move on to the NFC East. We have Justin taking the Washington football team, and Will is going back as the Eagles. Oh, no, wait a minute. I got the wrong file. This is the Cowboys. Drew is taking the Dallas Cowboys. Shocker of the world here.
Surprise.
Yeah, no, when asking for his team selection, he wrote 1 Cowboys, 2 Dallas, 3 Cowboys. He was pretty much a lock for him. I think the only way he would not have gotten them is if one of us selected him, but I don't think any of us wanted him, so that worked. So yeah, what do you guys think of this one?
I think I call this division like the prove it / redemption division.
Mm-hmm.
Because Drew and Justin both had great teams, great runs, but they could never get over that hump. You know?
Oh yeah.
They could never get the ring, or they got there and lost. So
Mm-hmm.
they're both really good players. It's gonna be a fun division to watch, and I want to see how Justin builds up Washington, and see how much of his success was my team that I gave him versus his stick skills. So we'll see. And Drew's gonna, Drew, I consider him, like, I'll bounce ideas off of him for team building. I don't doubt his team building one bit.
Right.
So he's gonna be the same user as he was, as far as building a great team.
What do you got, Ty?
For the Washington football team was another one that really interested me, and the contrast between these two teams is really interesting. You've got a top tier elite talent on the Cowboys,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot more middle of the pack players on Washington, it seems like. And even though they don't have the elite talent yet, they have some young guys that can really progress, especially Chase Young, who's going to just be a monster.
Oh my word!
On defense.
I covet that guy.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Justin does with that team. They seem like a fun project to rebuild with a lot of good young guys. Just none of that. There's not that core guy to build around yet.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I feel like what Chase is going to be. But the Cowboys, is going to be interesting to see what Drew does the same and differently. Having CeeDee Lamb as another wide receiver to be paired with Amari Cooper. Is he going to try?
I think he's going to love that.
Yeah, is he going to try to get another third one, or is he just going to rock those two?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see if he makes the same similar moves that he did last time, or if he goes a different route.
Yeah. I kind of like what you said about how you see this as kind of the redemption division. I mean, where you've got the AFC South with you, Matt and Dustin together in the AFC South, and you got that 1 and 2. In the NFC East, Drew and Justin check in as far as in the top 16. They're 4 and 5. So it's kind of a big dog matchup here, too, regardless of whether they've had Super Bowl success or not. These two are proven competitors, and I think there's going to be some fireworks here, regardless of, I think you're right, Cowboys are top-heavy as far as they've got good talent, but behind it, it's suspect, whereas the Washington football team has a lot of depth and middle-of-the-road talent with some room for growth. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch. I just plead with Justin that he starts Alex Smith over Dwayne Haskins, because if he wants to win anything, he needs to go with a champion in my heart.
One thing I want to point out is, we're talking about Madden when the AFC South and the NFC East are considered the two best divisions.
I mean, yeah, you have the user weight behind him. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be good for Drew to be matched up with a more consistent user. He bounced between Saeed there and then Will. So hopefully, I think Justin's going to bring a little bit more stability. I know Justin's told me several times he really likes it here, and he's been a quality addition. And Drew's a foundational piece here, so that's good. I'm excited to see how these two match up.
Yeah, it'll be a good matchup.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, for sure. They're gonna air it out, or there's just gonna be points everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the NFC South. Ty, do you want to do this one?
All right. With the Falcons, we got Mike taking over his favorite team, and we got Dustin G taking on the Saints.
Yeah, this is another one. Mike got his first team, which was the Falcons, and I know he's wanted them forever. And Dustin, I have to give the biggest thanks to Dustin. Dustin has been in our file all throughout. Unfortunately for Dustin, 2 of his 3 picks were picks that the commissioners had locked in. As far as I think Dustin picked the Cardinals. He picked the Dolphins as his 3rd pick, but the division had already filled up with Cody and I. So right out of the gate, Dustin's picks he was down to 1, and it just was not a good matchup for the division mate. And like I said, we're trying to create competitive divisions, and so with Mike and Dustin being near the bottom of our rankings, I thought pairing them up as far as for a chance at the playoffs would be a good time, and I think they'd match up well together. But I have to give Dustin a huge thanks for being such a key user in our league and being willing to be so flexible as far as taking a team that he didn't even consider. And his words, not mine, he said he wants to do what's best for the league. So I have to give him a personal thank you. Because normally I wouldn't ask somebody that checked off all the right quotas to make a move off of one of their top 3 teams. So what do you guys think of this division?
I'm excited to see Dustin with New Orleans. He has a team that's kind of like ready to win now. He doesn't have to develop and focus so hard on the draft, and because he was starting to have success towards the end of our file.
Yeah, he was.
He's gonna have a step up compared to starting with Miami, which is tough, really tough. Last year, and he matches up well with Mike. I don't know a lot about Mike. I played him a couple times in Kansas City, but I don't know. That Atlanta team is nice though. You got like Deion Jones, Tack, Keanu Neal.
Got some good youth there.
Yeah, on defense anyway.
Yeah.
I think their offense is kind of old and expensive, but if he can trade away some of those guys and get some value, he's going to be able to keep up with New Orleans. So I think it'll be a good division for sure. But I'm really excited for Dustin to see if he can start
really utilizing that team. Yeah.
Yeah, get in the playoffs, get some playoff experience. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think Dustin's going to really like starting off with the Saints team, especially after being used to starting with the Dolphins. This team is better than anyone he will ever have started with, and having using them in your league, Matt, and Gruden tongue twister.
Gruden grinders.
Yeah.
Gruden grinders. Oh my god, I just had a stroke.
It's a great sub at Subway. The Gruden grinder.
I'm extremely excited to start with a team like that, and I'm sure he has to as well. The offense is going to immediately he's going to be able to hit the ground running. Defense is a lot of elite talent there, and a lot of other guys are going to be developed. If as a consolation prize of having to not being able to take Miami or his other picks, this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how it goes. Mike being able to take his favorite team, it's always something cool when someone.
You love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to create your team and do the moves you do. I'm excited to see how he does with the group that he's extremely familiar with.
Yeah, I when looking at this division and looking at the teams, I think the matchups are as far as on field will be exciting. You got Julio Jones versus Lattimore, and you got Michael Thomas against that Falcons young defense and Tack going after Breeze. It's going to be fun to watch. I don't know who I'd say has the edge in this division either. I think I would just based on achievements from the previous file, Mike had some playoff appearances where Dustin just barely missed out. So I think you're going to see a really competitive division, and I don't know who I could give the clear-cut winner to, with the Saints being almost in a better position to win now.
I have Saints winning first year division.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
You guys, how do you guys think
Yeah.
this is going to be long-term?
Well, for both of them, actually, the quarterback position is only
Temporary?
temporary. So really, whoever solves that the fastest and the most efficiently is going to have an edge over the other one. I agree. With Matt Ryan, he's not as good as Breeze, but he's a little bit younger, so you can ride him a little longer. But you may not want to, because if you wait 3 or 4 years to get his replacement while Dustin's been developing his guy with Michael Thomas and the rest of the weapons there, then you're going to be playing from behind at the quarterback. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see who changes that up first and how well they do that.
I believe the Saints have Jameis Winston behind Breeze, yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say
They do.
And now I'm also curious too, especially at the quarterback position. Mike doesn't have the luxury of having Patrick Mahomes this time, nor a replacement behind Ryan. I am curious, just as you are, is how are they going to address those needs come the first or second off season? I'm excited to watch this division play out. I could see it being just like the AFC West from last year with the Raiders and Chiefs, just kind of going neck and neck, fighting it out. And a couple times, I believe the Raiders and Chiefs both made the playoffs. I could see this kind of being the dark horse division in the NFC. Just looking at the breakdown of these users, I could see them both sneaking in and really surprising everybody.
That'd be awesome.
All right, we will move on to the NFC West. Matt, you want to take this one?
Sure. We have Derek returning to his favorite team, the Seahawks, and we have Tyler taking over the Cardinals, and another surprise.
Yeah, Ty, this is your first time with the Cardinals, right? How do you feel about this?
Well, I'm not very familiar. I just like the color red, but I'm going to do my best.
I think you've had your profile pick as DeAndre Hopkins for like a month now. I think you're pretty excited.
Like a week and a half. But yeah, every day I still have times where I'm either listening to the radio or I'm seeing stuff about DeAndre Hopkins, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right.
It's so weird to think of him not on the Texans.
Oh, I know. I remember watching Texans games going, God, I wish we could get someone like him, and what do you know?
Yeah.
I'm really excited. This game, or this team, the way it is now, it's even better than where I started last time, and I was able to turn that team around.
Yep.
Isaiah Simmons is probably not going to be as good as he'd be in some of the hands of other users, but I'm making it my mission to make him as impactful of a defender as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really excited to see what I can do. I'm also excited to play with Derek again, even though I'm not excited about playing against Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner together on defense. That's gonna be a headache. But our matchups have always been fun, and we've been in the division together before in years, so it's a great reunion, and I'm excited to see what happens.
What do you think, Matt?
I think it's going to be a fun division. I want to... Ty, are you going to go like kind of a similar build you did this year, as far as like all the trick plays and motion and...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I mean, like you said, you start off in a better position, and you add DeAndre Hopkins and Simmons. So I think you're going to have fun building that team up to where you want it. And, I mean, the Seahawks are like a top 3 Madden team, I think.
Yeah.
They're loaded.
Yeah, and then like you said, Adams and Wagner, I guess their GM saw some of my team building from the Jets. Copy that, I don't know. But, they have a lot of good pieces too. So it's going to be a battle for you. But you and Derek know each other pretty well, I think. because you guys have been in the division before. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I when I first saw this matchup, I immediately thought of, I believe it was the second year in last year's file, you guys met up in the playoffs, and it was the first time I saw Ty's defense at work. And Ty had really stepped up and improved his defense, and Derek and him just went back and forth in this playoff game, and it was one of the games, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in the future. It was one of those games that I've always remembered from last year. It was such a good playoff game between two good experienced users, and now they both have their home teams, and watching you guys play those games twice a year is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. All of our games in this last file were really close, neck and neck, and then that one still stings with a pick six
right at the end
on the RPO.
Yep.
Oh man,
that was the only time I had seen somebody pick six an RPO like that.
Yeah, it was the only time I'd seen it up to then too.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise for everybody.
Yeah, they. I think this is going to be a good matchup. I can't come out and say who I think is going to win the division. I don't know. I think Derek's got the better roster right out of the gate. But I mean, my goodness, you know your team because you're just coming off of them, and so you know it pretty well. Derek knows his team because he's a Seahawks fan. I mean, it's gonna be a good matchup. I really am excited about this. I know you wanted Sam in the division, but I think this is a good second option.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so for those who don't know, Ty was really pushing for Sam to get into this division, and Sam had I believe the 49ers and Seahawks on his list, but Sam had joined late into our file, and Derek's been here throughout the whole time. So this is a good example of, look, Derek has veteranicity over Sam, so he's going to get his pick over what Sam chooses, and it fit well too because it was a good matchup on the field, and so sorry to Sam, but you're going all the way up to the AFC North, and Derek got his Seahawks, and a lot of picks for this division too. They were all over the place. Some people wanted Niners, some people wanted the Seahawks, nobody wanted the Rams. But yeah, so I'm excited to see how this one shakes out. I can't peg a winner. What do you guys think? Do you Matt, see a clear winner in year one?
Year one, I'm gonna. Sorry, so I think Derek's gonna take it year one, but I think it's gonna be kind of swing towards the end of the file where the Cardinals are more the top dog, because Seahawks are missing a lot of draft picks. So
yeah, that's true.
They're gonna have to pay Adams, and their cap's gonna be a little wonky, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I see Ty coming in strong at after year 2 or 3 and kind of taking over.
Yeah. Ty, who do you think's winning the division?
I definitely feel like he has an edge over me. You know, obviously I'm going to do my best, but the first season I always use as a trial year to try out players, to try out play, to really pin down my playbook and all that kind of stuff. So, and I know I really struggled with the team last year, especially when I was starting all the RPOs and options and creating a lot of turnovers. And hopefully I won't have growing pains like that this time. But he definitely has an edge over me early, and I'm going to have to play my top game in our matchups to be able to win the division. But I'm really hopeful for my team and what it can do. And I think even if he has a strong edge at first, it's going to be a tight competition once I get the moves that I want.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and I think this that division is a great conclusion to the big division reveal. I think that every division is going to be a good matchup, and I think that one's going to be one of the closest. So that concludes the reveal of the divisions. Just to recap, for the NFC, you have Adam taking the Packers, you have Southern Sam taking the Vikings, you have Drew taking the Cowboys, you have Justin taking the Washington football teams, you have Mike taking the Falcons, Dustin G taking the New Orleans Saints, Ty taking the AZ Cardinals, and Derek taking the Seattle Seahawks. So we have a few notes here to some talking points, if you will, about going into next file now that the teams are revealed. I just wanted to recap briefly kind of the moves. So you have Ty staying in Arizona. You have Cody going from the Bears to the Bills. You have myself going from the Jags to the Patriots. You have Matt going from the Jets and Titans to the Jags. You have Drew remaining in Dallas. You have Dustin going from the Ravens to the Titans. Dustin G from the Dolphins to the Saints. Derek from the Saints to the Seahawks. Mike from the Chiefs to the Falcons. Lynn staying as the Raiders. Sam from the Lions to the other cat team in the Bengals. Southern Sam going from the Bucks to the Vikings. Justin from the Jets. Yes. Justin from the Jets to the Washington football team. Adam from the Steelers to the Packers. Jordan from the Colts to the Broncos. 2 horse teams.
Horses, yeah.
Yep. And Joe. Joe is staying as the Browns.
The Brown remains the same.
The Brown remains unchanged. Oh, that was more of a laugh than I needed. That was good. So a few things I noted here. So we have 6 of the 16 users. They are not changing conferences. So 6 users that are changing conferences. So Cody's moving to the AFC. Dustin G, the NFC. Mike is moving over to the NFC. Sam's coming to the AFC. Justin's going to the NFC. And Adam is going to the NFC. So you have 6 users changing conferences. We have 4 users who are not changing teams in Ty, Drew, Lynn, and Joe. We have 2 users that are returning to reopen the file, which is Joe and Jordan, who were one of the first ones last file to take a break, so they had first dibs back in. And just if you're wondering, the 17th user right now is Jacques, who's waiting for the next person to leave to come in. We have 2 users that are not returning, which is Will and LP, the 49ers user. And we have 9 users playing as their favorite team. So that's really cool to see. When I saw that number and kind of did the math, that was awesome. 4 AFC users are former Super Bowl champions in Cody, Matt, Dustin, and Jordan. 0 NFC users are former Super Bowl champions. However, we have plenty of them that have made appearances. I wrote 6 users have been to Super Bowl, but not 1. Cody made it to Super Bowl and did win 1, but he also lost 1. Matt, same scenario. Drew lost the Super Bowl. Oh, I love that dog. Dustin O lost and won a Super Bowl. Lynn lost the first Super Bowl, and Southern Sam just recently lost the Super Bowl. So we have 6 users that have been to Super Bowl but not won. What are your guys' thoughts breaking down the conferences now?
Well, when I first looked at it, I thought the AFC had an edge, but I didn't think it was too big.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that there are 0 Super Bowl champions from the last file in the NFC means we really need to step it up. And I even went through and combined the scores of the AFC and the NFC.
I saw that.
And AFC had 761 points, and the NFC had 882. So that's a 121-point difference, which is a pretty big margin, actually. Yeah,
you're right. I think you're looking, as far as the top dog in the NFC, based on the rankings, is Drew, who was number 4. And then you have underneath him Justin and you. So, you guys are the leaders over there.
Yeah, it will. Obviously, we got a lot to prove. And a lot of things can change. Who knows? Maybe things flip after another year.
Right.
It'll be quite a comparison to see if that does change drastically. But I'd say the AFC is definitely the top dogs coming in.
Yeah, based on last file.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'd have to give it to the AFC. Just like you said, all the rings are over there. But everyone's in a new team, new situation, so I don't put too much stock into it, really.
Yeah, no, I agree.
By the end of it, it might be the NFC is the pure top dog going into the next file, So
it's amazing how fast things can change.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But all these division matchups are good. There's going to be some great playoff matchups, and some teams are going to surprise. I think some guys are going to surprise us this file.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I was stressing more so division competition over conference competition, or cross-conference competition, I should say. But I really think this is going to bring some talent out of the woodwork in the NFC. I mean, it's a 120-point deficit as far as the difference between the rankings, but it could have been a lot worse than 120 points. And I believe when I had my first rough draft, it was even the AFC was even stronger initially. And so then I went back and kind of retooled and had some conversations with some great people, and we created some fun divisions. And I mean, you look at the NFC, Southern Sam's been to a Super Bowl, Drew's been to a Super Bowl, Justin's been to a Super Bowl. So there's talent there. They just haven't won anything. So hopefully they will. But
Hopefully.
yeah. Do you guys have any other points to bring up to conclude the reveal of the divisions?
I don't think so. I'm excited. I wish the game was out today and we could get started.
Right?
Oh yeah. Every day, I just want to be able to pull up rosters and PM people for trades.
Well, I am sitting really comfortably now that Microsoft Flight Simulator is out, so I've got plenty of time to kill before Madden comes out. I'm enjoying my break away from the file. Let's put it that way. Yeah. But it'll be great to get back, and it's so fun to do these podcasts. A little preview for people next week. Next week we're going to be saying goodbye to the Madden 20 file. We're gonna have a couple extra guests on here. We're going to be discussing some of our memories, some of our favorite moments, some of our favorite players from last file, and we're going to put that file to bed as we look forward to Madden 21. So stay tuned. Last week was the top 16. This week was the division reveal. Next week will be our love letter to Madden 20, and then we'll look at really the new file after that. Thank you guys for joining me tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You can say you're welcome. It's fine.
You're welcome. I did not know. I thought that was rhetorical.
No. I want to. An hour of your time is an hour of your time, and I'll thank you for it every time.
Well, thank you for thanking us.
One thing before I forgot, little piece of trivia. No, not a single user asked for the Chiefs.
Wow.
Not a single user. Mahomes' contract either scared them away or they're worried about Tyreek being too fast. I don't know. But the former Super Bowl champions, nobody wanted them.
I mean, I get it. Like, they're obviously a fun team, but
for how long?
Does it feel fair? Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like having them would be like, how does this feel fair?
Yeah.
So no Chiefs, no Ravens. How fun is that?
Yeah. No Chiefs, Ravens, Bucks.
It's a dream come true. Yeah, no Bucks too as well. That's another thing.
And I mean, we had so many picks for the Chargers, and yet it just didn't work out, and so the Chargers are a computer again. Like it's like I swear the Chargers were like everybody's 2 and 3 team. Them in Seattle. But yeah, I mean the Niners had a couple picks in there, so the team that lost the Super Bowl, people still wanted them. But yeah, what really shocked me was not a single, not even as a third option. Hey, I'll take the Chiefs if they're there. Nobody wanted them. But I mean, to that point, you still got 9 users playing as their favorite team, and I don't think we've ever had that many users getting exactly what they want like that. So I'm really happy to see that. I'm sorry, Matt, you couldn't get the Bucks, okay? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You're real quiet on that point, and I know they were your number one.
There was some salt, but I got over it.
You handled it okay. I appreciate you working with me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week for our wrap-up of the file, and look forward to some updates here on the Discord. I'm currently working on maybe seeing about us getting a new logo. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, thank you so much, Matt. Thank you so much, Ty.
No problem.
You guys have a nice night.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.